I ended up being very closely monitored then my first trimester for epilepsy. And so I went in, got my levels drawn like the day I found out I was pregnant, because we had my baseline from prior to my first pregnancy, and then hadn't had my levels taken in between because we were trying and just didn't know. And then as soon as we found out I was pregnant, I went in for my levels and they had already decreased a little bit. So I'm very familiar with these numbers. So basically my threshold was like the golden zone for me is somewhere between 3.7 and 4.2. I don't know what those numbers actually stand for, but I know that that's what I'm going for. And so that was my golden zone. And I went in the first time right after I found out I was pregnant, and I was already decreased to 3.2. So they put me up on, at the time I was on 150 milligrams of Lamictal a day. And at that time, then they bumped me up to 200 milligrams a day. I got my levels taken the next month and they were 2.5. So like I'd gone up, but the levels were going down. And at that time they decided not only were they going to increase me, but they decided to switch me over to an extended release dose, which I think was I wish I'd known that before. I honestly wish I'd been with Dr. Pennell before I got pregnant, because they were saying, and I agree with them, like it would have been great to switch over to extended release before all of this. The first trimester was easily, I'm just now entering the third trimester, but first trimester was easily the hardest, being pregnant and being epileptic at the same time. So they put me on, I was at 2.5 in the middle of May. They switched me over to extended release and brought me up to 400 because it was low. Then I got my levels taken in June and I was at 1.5, which is like the red zone. Like you get your results and it's in red. Like this is really low. You need to do something about this, which was concerning. And up until that point, I did not tolerate the change well. So every time I went up, I would have headaches for like every day for a week. I really wouldn't feel well. I'd be kind of dizzy. Headaches weren't as common for most people, I believe, but that's generally how my body reacts to stuff. Is I would get horrible migraines. And when you're pregnant, you can only take Tylenol, and Tylenol didn't work for me. And it was just a whole thing. The first trimester was just like a lot of medicine, a lot of medicine, because it went from essentially I would take 3 pills a day. By the end of June, I was on like 9 a day. It was a lot. Now, I wish I had thought of this ahead of time. And I think maybe to help with the study, and I said this to my doctor, like it needs to become second nature for the doctors to realize if you're prescribing me 450 milligrams for the morning, it needs to be a 300 pill, 100 pill, and a 50 pill. It's not going to be 4 100 pills. Like that's too much. And that was a big change once they made that change, because I was already sick. I was in my first trimester. I can swallow pills. I couldn't even swallow my prenatal vitamin. That was hard. And they don't make Lamictal and chewable, I asked. So they did that. They put me up. So June, my levels were really, really low. So every week then, because I hadn't been tolerating it well, every week it was like, okay, starting on Tuesday, you're going to take 100 more milligrams in the morning. Next Tuesday, you're going to take 100 more milligrams in the evening. The following Tuesday, 100 more milligrams in the morning. Following Tuesday, 100 more milligrams at night. And it was a lot. It was a lot of medicine. And in addition to that, because I was epileptic, I had to take extra folic acid. And most prenatal vitamins have I believe 1 milligram in it. And my neurologist recommended a total of 4 a day. So I had to have 3 folic acid pills a day, which as a huge inconvenience, they don't sell them in milligrams in any of the stores I go to. It's micrograms. So you have to take like 15 of those. So I had to special order 1 milligram of folic acid online. I'm taking 3 of those a day, plus my medicine, plus vitamins. And it was a lot when you're not feeling well in your first trimester. Like there were definitely days where I called the doctor and I'd say, I took my medicine 10 minutes ago and threw it right back up. Like, what do I do now? And she'd say, okay, try and find something you can drink that you can take it with, or some food. And that was really hard. Not only was I not tolerating it well, but I was throwing up all the time. And so it would be, I think she told me it was like, if you throw up within an hour of taking your medicine, you have to take it again, which was impetus for me to be like, I'm not throwing up this hour. And that was really bad. So we went up. And then July, I got my levels and they were like 3.3. So they had gone up. I was like a little bit more encouraged. I was moving into my second trimester, feeling better, not having to increase as much, which was wonderful. And since July, so now it's almost October, I really haven't had to go up much in my second trimester.